Chapter 584. The young man who appeared from the stone door was naturally Lu Ming. Lu Ming was also stunned. He did not expect to see more than 10 young men staring at him when he opened the stone door. Ahem, excuse me. Lu Ming coughed a few times and was about to walk out. Wait a minute, kid, who are you? The leader of the blue-robed young men shouted coldly and stared at Lu Ming unkindly. I am Lu Ming. May I ask where this place is? Which domain is this? Lu Ming cupped his fists and said politely. Lu Ming had just arrived and wanted to find someone to inquire about the situation. He prayed silently in his heart that it would be best if it was in Tianxian domain. Even if it was not, it would be best if it was in a nearby domain. The blue-robed young man's eyes became colder and he said coldly, Kid, do you think I'm a fool? Cut the crap. Hand over all the treasures you obtained inside. Treasures? What treasures? Lu Ming was stunned. Don't play dumb with me. Hand over your storage ring and let me check it. Otherwise, don't even think about leaving here today. The blue-robed young man said coldly. Lu Ming frowned and said, I didn't take any treasures and there are no treasures inside. Now, get out of the way, I'm leaving. Kid, you refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Master Qin is trying to negotiate with you, but you keep making excuses. Are you courting death? I'll give you 3 breaths of time to hand over your storage ring. Beside the blue-robed young man, a skinny young man stepped forward and shouted. Get lost. Lu Ming glared at him and there seemed to be a thunderstorm flashing in his eyes. The skinny young man's face changed and he could not help but take 3 steps back. Lu Ming sneered and strode forward. You're courting death. The skinny youth reacted. He had actually been forced back by Lu Ming's glare. He immediately felt that he had lost a lot of face. He roared angrily and clawed at Lu Ming's throat. The skinny young man was a peak 7th layer Martial King Realm Greater Success King Realm expert. He was extremely powerful and would definitely be a top genius in Tianxian City. But the person he met was Lu Ming. Bang! Lu Ming lifted his leg and kicked out. This kick contained the power of the 9 dragons ascending heaven step. The skinny young man let out a blood-curdling scream as his body was sent flying far away. He fell flat on his face and couldn't get up for a while. Little brat, you are quite strong. No wonder you could reach the core area of the marionette school. Tell me, who are you? I have never seen you in the Grand City. Which power are you from? How dare you hit a genius of my Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace? The blue-robed youth's eyes were like lightning as he coldly stared at Lu Ming. Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. Lu Ming's eyes flickered as he said, My name is Lu Ming, and I'm from the Tianxian region. I'm also a Di-Tian Divine Guard. Nonsense, the Tianxian region? Why would someone from the Tianxian region come here? Do you think I'm a fool? How dare you pretend to be a Di-Tian Divine Guard? Are you a spy sent by the Heavenly Corpse sect? Tell me honestly, and I'll spare your life. The blue-robed youth scolded. Forget it if you don't want to tell me. Get out of my way, I'm in a hurry. Lu Ming waved his hand and took a big step forward. Clang! The sound of a sword rang out as the blue-robed youth made his move. A sharp sword light pierced towards Lu Ming's throat like a flying immortal. Fast, accurate, and ruthless, the blue-robed youth cultivated the will of metal and had reached the early stage of the 9th layer Martial King realm. His battle prowess was extremely strong. Speaking nicely, do you really think I'm a pushover? Lu Ming's eyes turned cold as a long spear appeared in his hand and swept out. As the spear swept out, the entire area shook and the blue-robed youth's attack instantly crumbled. Shit, back off. The blue-robed youth's expression changed greatly as he quickly backed off. However, he was still too slow and was struck by Lu Ming's spear. His body was sent flying like a cannonball and only managed to stabilize himself after flying 1,000 meters away. Puff! The blue-robed youth spat out a mouthful of blood as his face turned pale. The others were astounded as they stared at Lu Ming in astonishment. The blue-robed youth's cultivation was at the 9th layer Martial King realm. Even in the Hong City where geniuses were as common as clouds, he would still be considered a top genius. However, He had been sent flying by Lu Ming's spear and ended up spitting out blood. This youth who had appeared out of nowhere was so powerful that they were astounded. Whoosh! Whoosh! At that instant, a piercing sound could be heard as more than 10 figures flew in their direction. The next moment, more than 10 beautiful ladies appeared on the scene. That's right, those who had just arrived were all young ladies in their 20s. Their figures were slim and beautiful. In particular, there was a lady in a white dress who seemed to be in her 20s. Her skin was like jade and her beauty was unparalleled. Her white dress fluttered in the wind as if she was a fairy descending from the 9 heavens. Keek, Qin Qingfei, it seems like you've knocked down an iron wall. The lady in a white dress glanced at the crowd and stopped at Lu Ming's figure for a brief moment before she glanced at the blue-robed youth and said with a smile, "Humph, Fei Xue, you're too late. The treasure of the marionette sect has already been taken by this kid." The blue-robed youth, who was Qin Qingfei, wiped the blood off the corner of his mouth and harumphed. "Oh." Fei Xue stared at Lu Ming thoughtfully. The treasure of the marionette sect is not to be underestimated. "Fei Xue, aren't you going to take it for yourself?" Qin Qingfei rolled his eyes and said to Fei Xue. He was trying to provoke Fei Xue into attacking Lu Ming. Fei Xue smiled and said, "There are countless treasures in the world. To obtain them, one must have the right opportunity and strength. Since this young man has already obtained it, it means that I'm not lucky enough to obtain it. Why should I force myself?" Fei Xue was extremely perceptive. How could she not know what Qin Qingfei was thinking? How could she fall into Qin Qingfei's trap? Seeing that Fei Xue did not fall into his trap, Qin Qingfei was disappointed and his face turned gloomy. "Kid, I don't care which force you're from. You'd better remember how you dared to injure me." Qin Qingfei looked at Lu Ming and said coldly before he turned around and left. The other youths followed behind him. Lu Ming smiled and did not mind. He had already shown mercy just now. If the other party still did not know what was good for him, then don't blame him. "Young man, how should I address you?" Fei Xue walked towards Lu Ming and cupped her fists. "I'm Lu Ming. May I know which region is this?" Lu Ming asked again. Fei Xue and the other young ladies were stunned. Fei Xue looked at Lu Ming suspiciously and said, "This is the Hong domain. Young man, are you from another region?" "Hong domain." Lu Ming's expression turned somewhat unsightly. After joining the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace, Lu Ming had naturally researched the geographical distribution of the Divine Desolate Continent and knew about the Hong domain. The Hong domain was 16 regions away from the Tianxian domain. The distance was several tens of thousands of kilometers. How was he going to return? Honestly speaking, I'm from the Tianxian domain and am also a divine guard. However, I accidentally barged into an ancient remnant and came here. Lu Ming casually found a reason. If he said that he entered another realm and came here, no one would believe him. "You're from the Tianxian domain and are also a divine guard?" Chapter 585. That's right. This is my divine guard token. You can take a look at it. Lu Ming passed his divine guard token to Flying Snow. When he first arrived, Lu Ming urgently needed help. Since Flying Snow and the rest didn't seem like Qin Qingfei and were easy to get along with, Lu Ming had the intention of befriending them. Flying Snow took the divine guard token and looked at it. She was astonished. "You are really a Di Tian divine guard from the Tianxian region." Although Flying Snow was astonished, the information recorded in the divine guard token was irrefutable. The divine guard token was made using a special method and was hard for others to imitate. The other girls were also astonished. They didn't expect a Di Tian divine guard from the Tianxian region to appear here. He is actually a Di Tian divine guard from another large region. I have never seen anyone from another large region in my life. Is the Tianxian region fun? Is it the same as the Hong domain? He looks about the same as us, and he's quite handsome. Hehe, you are being love-struck again. You can't move after seeing a handsome man. More than a dozen young and beautiful girls surrounded Lu Ming and chattered. More than a dozen pairs of beautiful eyes surrounded Lu Ming and sized him up as if they were looking at a rare animal. Lu Ming was a little speechless. He smiled bitterly and rubbed his nose. "All right, Don't look at Brother Lu like that. We are all girls. Don't be afraid that Brother Lu will laugh at us. Flying Snow said awkwardly. Only then did the girls back off. However, their beautiful eyes were still looking at Lu Ming. Brother Lu, since you are here by chance, why don't you head to the Hong City and take a look around? Fei Xue looked at Lu Ming. Her beautiful eyes were filled with curiosity. She naturally knew about the Tianqian region. It was a small region and was far inferior to the Hong domain. However, it was obvious that Qin Qingfei had suffered a great loss in the hands of Lu Ming. A person from the Tianqian region could actually defeat Qin Qingfei so easily. He was definitely not ordinary. He might be one of the top geniuses in the Tianqian region. She wanted to befriend him. After all, one more friend meant one more path. Miss Flying Snow, I wonder where is the branch palace of the Emperor Heavenly God Palace in the Hong domain? I have something important to do and need to rush back to the Tianqian domain. I would like to use the interdomain teleportation formation. Lu Ming asked. The branch palaces of the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace in every major region had a transdomain teleportation array. The Tianqian branch palace also had one, and it was located in the Tianqian city. After all, each major domain was too vast. If one were to fly, it would take a very long time. It would be much more convenient with the teleportation formation. Brother Lu wants to use the interdomain teleportation formation? Just nice. The Grand City is a branch of the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace in the Grand City. The interdomain teleportation formation is located in the Grand City. It takes 3 days to travel from here to the Grand City. Brother Lu, you can come with us to the Grand City. I will arrange for the interdomain teleportation formation for you, Flying Snow said. Then many thanks to Lady Flying Snow. Lu Ming was overjoyed and cupped his fists to express his gratitude. However, Brother Lu injured Qin Qingfei earlier. This person is narrow-minded and will surely not let the matter rest. It's best that we don't encounter him on this trip. Otherwise, I'm afraid trouble will arise. Flying Snow reminded. With that, Lu Ming followed Flying Snow and the others and flew towards the Grand City. 3 days later, they arrived at the Grand City. The Grand City was where the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace in the Grand City was located. It was majestic and majestic. One could see 8 incomparably huge mountain peaks piercing through the clouds like divine swords. The 8 mountain peaks were located in 8 different locations and were several thousand li apart from each other. The vast territory in the middle of the 8 mountain peaks was the Grand City. The city walls around the Grand City were formed by the 8 mountain peaks. Only the areas between the mountain peaks were the city walls. It was too huge. This was the biggest city that Lu Ming had ever seen. It was like a nation. A city was a nation. Following Flying Snow and the others, Xiao Chen easily entered the Grand City. What dense spiritual energy! Moreover, the state of heaven and earth is extremely intense. The moment Lu Ming entered the Grand City, he exclaimed in surprise. Brother Lu, the area below the Grand City is a Dao Eye. As for the spiritual energy, it is because the powerhouses of the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace used the 8 mountain peaks as the array foundation to set up a huge spiritual energy gathering array. That is why the spiritual energy is so dense. Flying Snow explained. Lu Ming was astonished. The powerhouses of the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace were really generous. They actually used the 8 mountain peaks as the array foundation to set up a spiritual energy gathering array. How massive was this inscription array? The density and intensity of the spiritual energy and state of heaven and earth in the Grand City were not as high as in Tianqian City. However, Tianqian City was too small. At most, it was only 1,000th the size of the Grand City. The streets of the Grand City were bustling with people coming and going. There were all sorts of shops and everything. Brother Lu, why don't you stay in this inn today? I'll go and make arrangements for the inter-province transportation formation. After walking around for a while, Flying Snow said to Lu Ming. All right, I'll have to trouble Miss Flying Snow. Lu Ming nodded. The inter-province transportation formation was no small matter. It was very strict to use it. One had to investigate one's identity very thoroughly. Normally, People outside the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace were not allowed to use it. The inter-province transportation formation could be said to be the lifeline of a faction. During a great battle, it could quickly mobilize experts for reinforcements. Otherwise, it would be too late to rely on flying. Hence, one had to make an appointment in advance. It was impossible to use it whenever one wanted. Lu Ming was clear on this point as well. All right. Brother Lu, keep this voice transmission jade talisman. If you need anything, you can look for me at any time. It will take at most 1 day. Brother Lu should be able to set off tomorrow. Flying Snow handed a voice transmission jade talisman to Lu Ming. Then, Lu Ming received it and put it away. Flying Snow and the others left first. Lu Ming rented a room in a nearby inn. Then, he wandered around the Grand City alone. Since Xiao Chen came to the Grand City by chance, he might as well wander around and broaden his horizons. Indeed, the Grand City had many strange things that Xiao Chen had not seen in the Tianxian domain before. Lu Ming was dazzled by the sight. While he was at it, he also bought some strange materials. Of course, Lu Ming did not have many spirit crystals left. The ones he bought were all cheap. I should go and get some spirit crystals. Otherwise, I won't even have the money to use the interdomain teleportation formation. Previously, he had used up all his spirit stones to break through to the next realm. Now, Lu Ming only had a few tens of thousands of spirit crystals. After asking around for the location of the market, Lu Ming walked towards it. Not long after, Lu Ming arrived at the market of the Grand City. He found a shop called the All Creation Pavilion and walked in. Lu Ming sold all the spirit weapons, refining materials, and martial techniques below the heaven level that he did not need. He received about 800,000 supreme-grade spirit crystals. 800,000 spirit crystals should be enough to use the interdomain teleportation formation. After wandering around for a while, Lu Ming returned to the inn. The night passed uneventfully. On the afternoon of the second day, Flying Snow found Lu Ming. Brother Lu, the interdomain teleportation formation has been reserved for you. You can set off immediately. Flying Snow smiled. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. To be able to reserve a spot for the interdomain teleportation formation so quickly, it seemed like Flying Snow's influence in the Grand City Branch Palace was not small. Many thanks, Aunt Flying Snow. If there is anything Lu Ming can help you with in the future, Lu Ming will definitely not decline. Chapter 586. If he didn't have Flying Snow's help, it wouldn't be so easy for him to obtain a slot to use the teleportation array. Brother Lu, do you wish to set off immediately, or do you wish to tour around Hong City for a few more days? Flying Snow can be the host and bring Brother Lu around. Flying Snow said. No need. I have urgent matters to attend to and need to rush back to Tianxian region. If there is an opportunity in the future, I will bother Miss Flying Snow. Lu Ming was indeed anxious. There were only a few days left before the half-year agreement. He wondered how was the situation over at Mulin's side. All right, then I will bring Brother Lu over. Flying Snow smiled. Following which, Lu Ming followed Flying Snow and walked towards the direction of the inter-province teleportation array. In the center of Hong City, there was an endless stretch of palaces. There were many tall and majestic walls that separated the palaces. Along the way, there were many checkpoints. Following which, Flying Snow naturally passed through 7 checkpoints without any obstructions. Flying Snow, you are here. Is this the little brother who wants to use the inter-province teleportation array? At the 8th checkpoint, a middle-aged man was waiting there. When he saw Flying Snow, he revealed a smile. Deacon Liu, that's right. I have to thank Deacon Liu for your help this time. Flying Snow smiled and said. Miss Flying Snow is too courteous. I have already made the arrangements. Follow me. Deacon Liu said politely. Following which, Flying Snow and Lu Ming followed Deacon Liu and continued on their journey. It's you. Brat, stop right there. After passing through a few more checkpoints, a gloomy voice suddenly echoed. Lu Ming followed the voice and looked over. His face sank slightly. Qin Qingfei. Flying Snow's expression changed slightly. Qin Qingfei brought a few young men and walked over. He looked at Lu Ming with a cold expression. Deacon Liu, what's going on? You actually brought an outsider and wandered around in the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. You are really bold. Qin Qingfei's eyes turned and landed on Deacon Liu. Deacon Liu's expression changed. He cupped his fists slightly and said, Young Master Qin, this young hero is a good friend of Lady Feishue. Furthermore, he is also an Empyrean Divine Guard of the Empyrean Divine Palace. Bullshit. What Empyrean Divine Guard? How come I've never seen one before? Speak, what are you planning to do with him? Qin Qingfei berated. Deacon Liu's expression turned ugly as he said, This young hero wants to take the interdomain teleportation formation. What? Take the interdomain transmission array? Deacon Liu, you are simply too audacious. The transdomain teleportation array is an extremely important item to the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. You actually brought an unknown person to take the transdomain teleportation array. What if this person is a spy? If something were to happen to the interdomain teleportation array, would you be able to take responsibility? Even if you had 10 lives, it wouldn't be enough. Qin Qingfei roared. Deacon Liu's expression turned even uglier, and he began to hesitate. Previously, it was Feishue who had come to him for help. Feishue's identity was not to be underestimated. Hence, he naturally agreed readily and did not think too much about it. He also did not suspect Lu Ming's identity. Now that he heard Qin Qingfei's words, he broke out in cold sweat. Indeed, if something were to happen, he would be finished. Even Feishue would not be able to protect him. Qin Qingfei, Lu Ming is a Empyrean Divine Guard. He isn't a spy. Feishue said. If he isn't a spy, then show me the evidence. Qin Qingfei sneered. He did not believe Lu Ming when he said that he was from the Tianxian region. You want to see the evidence, right? This is my Empyrean Divine Guard token. Take a look. Lu Ming took out his Empyrean Divine Guard token and threw it to Qin Qingfei. Qin Qingfei caught it and took a look. His expression immediately changed, revealing a trace of disbelief. Lu Ming was actually a Empyrean Divine Guard. Moreover, he was a Empyrean Divine Guard from the Tianxian region. Previously, Lu Ming had already said that he was a Empyrean Divine Guard from the Tianxian region. However, Qin Qingfei did not believe it at all. Why would a Martial King Realm Empyrean Divine Guard from the Tianxian region come to the Hong domain? Moreover, he appeared in the marionette sect's relic. Previously, he thought that Lu Ming was bluffing him. He did not expect it to be true. Now you see it. I am a Empyrean Divine Guard. No matter which palace it is, they all belong to the Empyrean Divine Palace. As long as you are a Empyrean Divine Guard, you are qualified to take the interdomain teleportation formation. Now, you can get lost. Lu Ming swept out his true energy and took back the Empyrean Divine Guard token. He said coldly, emphasizing the last two words get lost. Qin Qingfei's expression changed rapidly. In the end, he rolled his eyes and sneered, so what if you are a Empyrean Divine Guard? It's a pity that the quota for the interdomain teleportation formation has been used up. You will have to wait for the next one. The quota is used up. That's impossible. I asked around yesterday. There is no quota. Feishue said. Yesterday? Sorry, it just ended today. Qin Qingfei sneered. That's impossible. Qin Qingfei, get out of the way. I want to ask them personally. Feishue shouted. What's there to ask? The elder in charge of the interdomain teleportation formation is my 8th uncle. I will send him a voice transmission and ask him to come over and talk to you. Qin Qingfei snorted and took out a voice transmission jade talisman. He sent a message. Soon, there was a flash of rainbow light, and a middle-aged man appeared. Qingfei, what's the matter? The middle-aged man looked at Qin Qingfei. 8th uncle, Feishue brought a kid and wanted to take the interdomain teleportation formation. I told them that there are no more quotas, but they didn't believe me, Qin Qingfei said. The middle-aged man looked at Feishue and said, there are indeed no more quotas. That's impossible. There were still quotas yesterday. Feishue said with an ugly expression. Feishue, you are getting bolder. Are you doubting me? I have been in charge of the interdomain teleportation formation for many years. How can I not know if there are still quotas? Please go back. The middle-aged man's face darkened as he waved his hand. Feishue bit her red lips. When will the next batch of quotas be available? At this moment, Lu Ming spoke. It's hard to say about the next batch. After using it this time, the interdomain teleportation formation will need to be repaired. It will probably take about a year and a half. The middle-aged man sneered. A year and a half? Lu Ming's face was extremely gloomy. A year and a half? How could there be enough time? Qin Qingfei and the middle-aged man were obviously making things difficult for him. However, this was the Hong region branch palace, where there were countless experts. The middle-aged man's cultivation was unfathomable. It was impossible for him to barge in forcefully. There was only death waiting for him. However, since the other party insisted that there were no more quotas, there was nothing he could do. Hee. Qin Qingfei sneered. Seeing the ugly expression on Feishue and Lu Ming's faces, he felt extremely pleased. Miss Feishue, let's go. Lu Ming turned around and left. Now, he had to think of other ways. Brother Lu, there might be another way, Feishue said along the way. Oh! Lu Ming's eyes lit up. 6 days later, the largest auction in Hong City, the Tianji auction organized by the Tianji Chamber of Commerce, will be held. Every time, the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace will auction off 2 slots for interdomain teleportation in the form of tokens. This is known as the interdomain token. The purpose is to allow people outside the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace to obtain the opportunity to travel to other regions. As long as one's identity is clean, one can purchase the interdomain token. As long as one can purchase the interdomain token, one's identity will be fine. At that time, Qin Qingfei and the rest will have no reason to stop them. Chapter 587. Cross-region token? 6 days later. Lu Ming's eyes turned. 6 days later, it would be too late. It would be the appointed day. However, there was no other way now. All right, 6 days later, I must get a cross-region token, Lu Ming whispered in a firm voice. They chatted as they walked. Soon, the two of them walked out of the palace. Brother Lu, if you need anything, just let me know. A cross-region token is worth a lot. If you need help with spiritual crystals, Feishue can help temporarily, Feishue said. No need, Miss Feishue. Thank you for your help this time. 6 days later, I will definitely get a cross-region token. Lu Ming cupped his fists and left. 6 days later. Even if I get a cross-region token, it can only be used on the 2nd day. That means 7 days later. I hope I can make it in time. Lu Ming sighed in his heart. Lu Ming did not return to the inn directly. He asked around and walked towards the Tianji auction house. He did not have many supreme spiritual crystals with him now. 800,000 supreme spiritual crystals were probably not enough. According to Feishue, every time there were 2 cross-region tokens, the price would be raised to a very high level. Lu Ming planned to take out some items to auction in the Tianji auction house. What should I use to auction? Lu Ming pondered as he walked. He had many low-level items with him, but they were not worth much. High-level items such as the true dragon of combat skills, the 3 unique skills of the dragon god, the 9 dragons' heaven stomping steps, and the tree of enlightenment could not be auctioned. The Xianxiong silicon soil could be auctioned, but Lu Ming could not bear to part with it. Lu Ming also could not take out the 5 level 6 top 7 knots grass because Lu Ming planned to use it to break through level 7 physical body. As for the heaven class martial skills, Lu Ming had 7 or 8 of them. They were all heaven class lower class martial skills. However, it was impossible for 7 or 8 low-grade heaven tier martial skills to be sold for a high price. It seems that I have to sell some profound crystals. Lu Ming pondered. He had a lot of power Upanishad crystals. It wasn't a big deal to sell some that he didn't need. Soon, Lu Ming arrived at the Tianji auction house. Tianji Chamber of Commerce was the continent's #1 chamber of commerce. Young master, are you putting up a treasure for auction? The moment he entered the Tianji auction house, A beautiful young lady walked up to him and asked with a smile. Not bad. Lu Ming nodded. Most of the people who came to the Tianji auction house were here to auction their treasures. Sir, please follow me. Your treasure needs to be appraised by an appraiser. The girl brought Lu Ming to a counter. Master appraiser, this young hero wants to auction his treasures, the young girl said to a white-haired old man behind the counter. All right, I got it. You can leave now. The old man waved his hand, and the young girl retreated. Little brother, what treasure do you want to auction? The old man smiled as he looked at Lu Ming. He was very amiable and made people feel as if they were bathing in the spring breeze. As expected of the Tianji Chamber of Commerce, their quality was different. I want to auction profound crystals. Lu Ming said. Oh, how many crystals do you want to auction? According to the rules, anything below 10 crystals can't be auctioned. The old man smiled. Anything below 10 crystals was too little. The treasures auctioned by the Tianji Chamber of Commerce all had a base price of 10,000 supreme-grade spirit crystals and above. I'm auctioning 2,000 low-grade profound crystals, Lu Ming said. He then took out a storage ring and handed it to the old man. What? 2,000 crystals? The old man's voice suddenly rose, and his face was filled with shock. Jiao Kung's voice attracted the attention of some people nearby. Some of the young ladies even guessed that there was some special treasure. Otherwise, why would the appraiser be so surprised? Profound crystals were consumables. As long as a martial artist had the right attribute, they would use it to increase their strength. Very few people could take out 2,000 profound crystals to auction at once. The old man's consciousness sank into the storage ring, and his eyes widened. Metal attribute profound crystals. 2,000 of them. All of them are metal attribute profound crystals. The old man exclaimed. He originally thought that even if Lu Ming took out 2,000 profound crystals, they would be mixed with various attributes. If that was the case, the price would be much lower. He didn't expect that they would all be metal attribute profound crystals. The price of the same kind of power Upanishad crystal would be much higher. Those who cultivated metal concept would probably go crazy to bid for them. The market price of a profound crystal was 1,000 supreme-grade spirit crystals. But in fact, 1,000 supreme-grade spirit crystals couldn't even buy one profound crystal. It could often be sold for several thousand, or even more. And the fewer profound crystals there were, the cheaper they would be. If there were a lot, they could be sold in groups, and the price would be even higher. If a martial artist refined one or two profound crystals, it would only speed up their comprehension of concept. But if there were a lot of profound crystals and they were used continuously, not only would the effect be better, but they could also break through the realm of concept. For example, if a concept reached a bottleneck, one or two profound crystals might be useless. But 100 of them might be enough to break through the bottleneck. So, the more profound crystals there were, the higher the average price of each profound crystal would be. If 2,000 metal profound crystals were auctioned together, the price would definitely be terrifyingly high. Little brother, I'll help you register. The old man hurriedly helped Lu Ming register and then gave Lu Ming a proof of auction. Little brother, according to the rules, after you auction, you have to pay a 5% commission. The old man smiled. I understand this. Lu Ming nodded, put away the proof of auction, and left the heavenly secret auction. After making a few rounds in Hong City, Lu Ming casually found a restaurant and walked in. Lu Ming ordered some dishes and wine at a table by the window and started eating. Have you heard? This time, the heavenly secret auction will have a great treasure to auction. The heavenly secret Chamber of Commerce announced it a few days ago. I also heard about it. I wonder what kind of great treasure it is. I don't know exactly what kind of great treasure it is. An elder of my family works at the heavenly secret auction. According to him, it's a rare treasure that's hard to come by. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. In the restaurant, some people were eating and drinking while chatting. Among them, a short and fat young man spoke the loudest, his face full of pride. At this time, the short and fat young man's expression changed. He took out a sound transmission jade talisman and looked at it. His face changed. Then, he said loudly, "Big news, big news. I just received news that the Heavenly Secret Auction will have another great treasure to auction. Can you guess what it is?" "How can we guess?" "Hurry up and say it." The others said. "Haha, let me tell you. This time, it's profound crystals." The short and fat young man said. "Profound crystals? What's so strange about that? How is it a great treasure?" The others were disdainful. Although profound crystals are not great treasures, when there are enough of them, they become great treasures. I heard that this time, a set of 2,000 metal attribute profound crystals will be auctioned together. The Heavenly Secret Chamber of Commerce has already begun to announce it. The short and fat young man said loudly. "What? 2,000 metal attribute profound crystals?" The others were shocked, and all of them were extremely shocked. Chapter 588. To the side, Lu Ming was also taken aback. He didn't expect the news to spread so quickly. The Secret Chamber of Commerce was really fast. In fact, it wasn't hard to understand why the Secret Chamber of Commerce would do this. In this way, they could attract more people who needed the metal attribute profound crystals to bid. At that time, the price would be even higher, and the Secret Chamber of Commerce would naturally earn more. Lu Ming smiled. This was also a good thing for him. After eating and drinking to his heart's content, Lu Ming walked out of the restaurant and returned to the inn. There were still 6 days left. It was just enough for him to cultivate. Now, Lu Ming's cultivation base had already reached the peak of the 9th layer Martial King realm. It would be impossible for him to break through in a short time. As for his martial skills, the 3 arts of the Dragon God had already been cultivated to the 5th level. As for the 9 Dragon's Sky Stomping Steps, although his recent progress was extremely fast, it would still take some time to cultivate it to the 4th level. The 4th level of the 9 Dragon's Sky Stomping Steps was equivalent to the 6th level of a high-grade heaven-grade martial skill. Now, I can only improve my physical body first. Lu Ming pondered. As long as Lu Ming's physical body broke through to the 7th grade, his battle strength would increase by another level. The 7th grade physical body was 10 times stronger than the 6th grade physical body. There was a huge gap between the 6th grade physical body and the 7th grade physical body. Lu Ming took out a stalk of 7-knot grass. 7-knot grass was originally an ordinary grade 1 spirit herb. However, after being nurtured on the mysterious yellow silicon soil for who knew how many years, it had become a top grade 6 spirit herb. The medicinal power it contained was incomparably rich. Lu Ming used the 10,000 spirit battle body. He slowly transformed the 7-knot grass into all spirit chi and began to cultivate his physical body. The top rank 6 spirit plant was extremely useful even for Sea of Souls realm warriors. The medicinal power it contained was just too rich. The surging medicinal power was constantly transformed into strands of all spirit chi and seeped into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's muscles, bones, internal organs, and meridians were all rapidly improving, approaching another level. 1 day later, Lu Ming refined a 7-knot grass. Lu Ming took out another 7-knot grass and continued to refine it. Day after day passed. In the blink of an eye, 5 days had passed. Lu Ming had completely refined the 5-baht 7-knot grass. At this moment, Lu Ming's body was surrounded by a layer of dense mist. A rich medicinal fragrance was emitted from Lu Ming's body. Crackle! The sound of frying beans came from Lu Ming's body. Wisps of grey mist were expelled from his body. They were the impurities in his body. Lu Ming's body was covered in a layer of treasure glow, as if he were a supreme treasure. After 5 days of cultivation and refining 5 stalks of 7 knots grass, Lu Ming's physical body had finally broken through to rank 7. His physical strength had increased tenfold. Catcher! Catcher! Lu Ming's mind flickered. Lu Ming's body emitted a series of sounds. Immediately, Lu Ming's body grew taller, and his muscles also swelled. In a few breaths, Lu Ming had turned into a 2-meter-tall, burly young man. This was the mystery of rank 7 physical body. When one's physical body reached rank 7, one could freely change their muscle, bone density, size, and body shape. With another series of explosions, Lu Ming turned back. Taking out a rank 5 spirit sword, Lu Ming slashed his arm. He felt like he was slashing leather, and couldn't cut it at all. The rank 5 spirit sword was extremely sharp, but now it couldn't cut Lu Ming's skin. It could be seen how powerful Lu Ming's physical body's defense was. Most Sea of Soul Realm experts couldn't reach rank 7 physical body. He poured in his quintessential essence and then slashed his arm. Only then did a wound appear on his arm. However, before blood could flow out, the muscles on the wound quickly wriggled. In a few breaths of time, the wound healed, leaving behind a scar. Furthermore, the scar was also rapidly disappearing. He believed that in a few hours, the scar would completely disappear. Rank 7 physical body is indeed powerful. In this way, my battle strength has increased by at least 20%. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. Don't belittle this 20% increase. Lu Ming's combat strength was based on the convergence of his vital essence, concepts, martial techniques, and many other aspects. Moreover, Lu Ming's combat strength was already extremely shocking. It was already very terrifying that it had increased by 20%. This was also because of the mystery of the 10,000 spirit battle body. Even if other people had rank 6 spirit grass, it would be useless. There is still some medicinal power left in my body. There is still a day before the auction starts. It's just enough time to refine it. Immediately, Lu Ming operated the 10,000 spirit battle body and continued to refine the medicinal power. A day's time passed in the blink of an eye. The next day, Lu Ming received a message. Flying Snow had arrived and was waiting for him downstairs. Miss Flying Snow. Lu Ming arrived downstairs and said with a smile. Brother Lu. Flying Snow also faintly smiled. She looked at Lu Ming with some astonishment. After not seeing him for a few days, she felt that there were some changes in Lu Ming's body. However, she couldn't pinpoint the specific changes. Miss Flying Snow, you also want to go to the auction? Lu Ming asked. The auction held by Secret Chamber of Commerce only happens once every half a year. Moreover, this time, it's said that a rare treasure will be auctioned. Of course, I have to go and take a look. Moreover, this time, there will be a set of 2,000 metal attribute profound crystals being auctioned. I have an elder who also cultivates metal mentality. Soon, it will be his birthday. I want to buy them as a gift for him. Flying Snow smiled. Oh. Lu Ming nodded. I really don't know who it is that actually has 2,000 metal attribute profound crystals. Moreover, they are all auctioned together. This is extremely rare. I reckon that the competition this time will be very intense. I wonder if I can get them. Flying Snow sighed. Lu Ming smiled and rubbed his nose. The two of them walked towards the Secret Chamber of Commerce. Soon, they arrived. Miss Flying Snow, you are here too. Please follow me to the VIP room. When Flying Snow arrived, there was a beautiful young lady who welcomed her with a smile. She led Lu Ming and Flying Snow to a VIP room. Like most auction venues, the first floor of the auction venue was a huge hall. Above the hall, there was a high platform used to host the auction. On the second floor, there were many VIP rooms that surrounded the entire hall. The view was excellent and one could see the scene below. Lu Ming and Flying Snow arrived at VIP room number 10. Lu Ming opened the window and looked out. At this moment, there were already many people in the hall. Moreover, the number of people was increasing. In VIP room number 5, Qin Qingfei and a middle-aged man were sitting inside. This time, I must get 2,000 metal attribute profound crystals. Qin Qingfei's eyes revealed a fiery light. He cultivated the metal mentality and had reached a bottleneck. If he could get 2,000 metal attribute profound crystals, he would definitely be able to break through the bottleneck. Moreover, his metal mentality would improve by leaps and bounds. Second young master, although the metal attribute profound crystals are precious, our goal this time is that great treasure. The middle-aged man reminded. Don't worry. This time, my father gave me a large amount of supreme-grade spirit crystals. I will definitely be able to get that great treasure. Qin Qingfei said confidently. Chapter 589. It's that kid again. When Qin Qingfei saw Lu Ming, His eyes turned cold and the corners of his mouth curled up into a sneer. This kid is most likely here for the cross-region token. Hee, it's not that easy to get the cross-region token. Qin Qingfei sneered and closed the window. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with a trace of gloominess. There were more and more people in the hall. In the end, there were at least 20,000 people. There was a requirement to enter the Tianji auction house. One must be a martial king or above. Those below the martial king realm were not allowed to enter. In other words, the 20,000 people present were all martial king realm martial artists and above. Lu Ming was secretly amazed. The strength of the Hong domain was indeed powerful. Tianxian domain could not be compared to it. In the Tianxian domain, even if all the martial kings were added together, there wouldn't be more than 20,000 people. And now, there were more than 20,000 people in a single auction. It was simply incomparable. At this time, a middle-aged man in a white robe with a scholarly appearance walked up to the high platform. Branch President Feng Xiu is here. When the middle-aged man walked up to the stage, the whole place became quiet as if he had a great deterrent force. The middle-aged man smiled and said, "I believe many people know me. However, there are some new friends who don't know me. Let me introduce myself again. I am Feng Xiu, the branch president of the Tianji Chamber of Commerce in the Hong domain. I am the host of this auction. This time, there are a total of 218 treasures up for auction. They are all top-quality treasures. I hope everyone will be satisfied. Alright, time is limited. Let's begin the first auction today." Feng Xiu was very direct. He went straight to the point and announced the start of today's auction. Immediately, a beautiful young girl walked up with a tray. On the tray, there was a picture. Feng Xiu took the picture and saw a lightning bolt on it. I believe everyone can see that this is an inscription talisman scroll. As long as you inject true essence into it, you can activate the inscription on the inscription talisman scroll and launch a fatal attack. This lightning inscription talisman scroll has the power of a peak 7th martial king realm martial artist. The starting price is 10,000 supreme spiritual crystals and the increment is at least 1,000 supreme spiritual crystals. After the introduction, Feng Xiu gave the starting price. It's actually an inscription symbol scroll. This thing is very rare. At a critical moment, it can save your life. Moreover, its power is equivalent to the full power attack of a 7th level martial king. If used well, it can even kill a 7th level martial king warrior. I'll take it. I'll pay 12,000 top-grade spiritual crystals. There was a burst of discussion at the scene. Immediately, someone began to bid. It's an inscription symbol scroll. Lu Ming's expression also changed. An inscription symbol scroll was a symbol scroll refined by an inscription master. However, an ordinary inscription master simply could not refine it. If one wanted to refine an inscription symbol scroll, the first condition was to be a pure inscription master. In fact, most of the so-called inscribers were not pure. They mainly focused on cultivating martial arts, and inscribing was secondary. Most martial artists would cultivate some Tao of inscription to assist their martial arts cultivation. None of them were pure inscribers. If one was not a pure inscriber, they would not be able to refine an inscription symbol scroll. In the Tianxian domain, there was not a single pure inscriber. It was said that a person's energy was limited. If one wanted to become a pure inscriber, they would need to spend a lot of energy. Their martial arts cultivation would certainly not be too high. Moreover, a pure inscriber's combat strength was extremely low before reaching the 5th level. They could not compare to a martial artist. However, once a pure inscriber broke through to the 5th level, there would be a qualitative change. Their combat strength would become extremely terrifying, and their fighting style would be incomparably mysterious. Therefore, a pure inscriber had another name. They were called a true inscriber. A true inscriber, a true inscriber. These were all things that Lu Ming had seen in ancient books. He did not expect to see an inscription symbol scroll refined by a true inscriber. Just as Lu Ming was thinking, the price rose steadily. It had already broken through 20,000 top-grade spiritual crystals. What a bunch of country bumpkins. There are people who want such a trashy inscription symbol scroll. In the past, when I casually refined an inscription symbol scroll, it was 100,000 times, 1,000,000 times better than this. Dandan was lying on Lu Ming's shoulder with one leg crossed over the other. It was holding a 5th-level elixir that Lu Ming had coaxed it into its mouth. As it chewed, it muttered with a face full of disdain. "Oh, then why don't you refine one for me?" Lu Ming's mouth twitched. "Compage, I am injured now. Otherwise, it would be a matter of minutes." Dandan boasted shamelessly. On the side, Flying Snow looked at Dandan with interest. "Brother Lu, this tortoise monster beast of yours is quite fun." Flying Snow laughed. When a monster beast reached the king level, it could speak. Flying Snow did not find it strange. This fellow, besides boasting, only knows how to eat. It has no other use. Lu Ming said casually. Hearing this, Dandan jumped up from Lu Ming's shoulder, widened its eyes, and said loudly, "Boy, what did you say? How dare you say that I have no use? Outrageous. I am the head of the top 10 battle beasts. I am invincible in the world. How dare you look down on me?" Dandan pointed one of its claws at Lu Ming and said like an old man. However, its voice was childish like a 3-year-old child, causing Flying Snow to giggle. "That's enough. Stay here obediently." Lu Ming smiled and grabbed Dandan's little head. "Outrageous, I'll bite." Dandan bared its teeth and opened its mouth to bite Lu Ming's finger. "Hey, you dare to bite me." Lu Ming was caught off guard and Dandan bit his finger. He could not get rid of it. In the end, Lu Ming surrendered and took out a level 5 spiritual medicine. Only then did Dandan let go of him angrily. "Now you know how powerful I am." Dandan was complacent and hid in a corner to eat the spiritual medicine. Is this guy the reincarnation of a peerless powerhouse? Lu Ming did not believe it. At this time, the inscription charm scroll had been bought by someone for 35,000 top-grade spiritual crystals. After all, although the inscription charm scroll was powerful, it was only a one-time use item. The price would not be too exaggerated. Then, Feng Xiu took out the second auction item. It was an upper level 5 alchemy furnace. Alchemy furnaces were extremely rare, so the price was several times higher than ordinary spiritual weapons. This upper level 5 alchemy furnace was sold at a high price of 120,000 top-grade spiritual crystals. Then, items were taken out one by one for auction. Refining materials, elixirs, spirit weapons, secret manuals, and even demonic beasts, battle pets, and so on. Everything was available. However, although these treasures were precious, none of them caught Lu Ming's eye. Similarly, no one in the other VIP rooms on the second floor made a bid. Everyone knew that these people were waiting for the treasures at the back. The further they went, the more precious the treasures were. The 156th treasure is a bottle of carnate source liquid, and it is a middle-grade carnate source liquid. I believe I don't need to say more about the function of the carnate source liquid. It is the first sacred item for cultivating the body. Chapter 590. Mid-grade Xiantian origin liquid. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. He still remembered that when he was in the Burning Sun Empire, he had bid for Xiantian origin liquid. However, it was a low-grade Xiantian origin liquid, and there were only 9 drops. But now, there was a whole bottle of mid-grade Xiantian origin liquid. Mid-grade Xiantian origin liquid was many times more expensive than low-grade Xiantian origin liquid. However, with my current physical strength, this small bottle of mid-grade Xiantian origin liquid won't have much of an effect. But, I'll still buy it and give it to Dad and Mom to strengthen their bodies. Lu Ming's heart was moved, and he decided to buy it. Alright, this bottle of mid-grade Xiantian origin liquid will start at 50,000 supreme-grade spirit crystals. Each bid must be at least 5,000. Feng Xiu announced. I bid 60,000. I bid 70,000. I bid 80,000. As soon as Feng Xiu's voice faded, a group of people started bidding. This bottle of Xiantian origin liquid might not have much effect on Lu Ming, but it didn't mean that it wouldn't have any effect on others. Ordinary martial artists' bodies wouldn't be as strong as Lu Ming's. Even the majority of Sea of Soul Realm experts didn't have a body of 7th grade. Unless they specialized in body tempering arts. Ordinary kings, who used Jin Yuan to temper their bodies, would only have a body of 4th grade. There were only a few who could reach 5th grade. Mid-grade Xiantian origin liquid was still very useful to them. The price rose steadily, and soon, it reached 100,000 supreme grade spirit crystals. 150,000. Suddenly, a clear voice sounded. The person who made the bid was Lu Ming. There was a sudden silence. Lu Ming added 50,000 yuan in one go, showing that he was determined to win. 160,000. Another person made a bid. 200,000. Lu Ming bid again, increasing the price by 40,000. Many people shook their heads and sighed, giving up on the competition. Obviously, Lu Ming didn't hesitate to increase the price. They didn't have the confidence to compete with Lu Ming. To be honest, several tens of thousands of supreme-grade spirit crystals were nothing in Lu Ming's eyes. Now, he needed at least 1 million spiritual crystals to increase his cultivation by 1 level. He had refined more than 20 million supreme spiritual crystals. 200,000 going once. Are there any more bids? Fengxiu asked. 215,000. At this moment, a lazy voice sounded. It came from VIP room 5. Qin Qingfei. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. That voice belonged to Qin Qingfei. In VIP room 5, Qin Qingfei had a cold smile on his face as he thought to himself, "Brat, if you want it, I won't let you get it so easily." 250,000. Lu Ming directly raised the price to 250,000. 255,000. Qin Qingfei's voice rang out again, but it was only a symbolic 5,000 yuan increase. That seems to be Qin Qingfei. That's right. I wonder who's in VIP room 10? He seems to have offended Qin Qingfei. Qin Qingfei doesn't intend to bid at all. He's deliberately raising the price with the other party. At the scene, many people saw through Qin Qingfei's intentions. 300,000. If you raise the price again, I'll let you have it. Lu Ming's voice rang out. Haha, since you've offered 300,000 for a bottle of innate original liquid that's worth more than 100,000, how can I compete with you? I'll let you have it. Qin Qingfei's mocking voice rang out. 300,000 going once. Is there any more bids? Fengxiu asked. No one said anything. What a joke. A bottle of middle-grade innate original liquid was worth more than 100,000 supreme spiritual crystals. 300,000 was too expensive. Who would bid? Fengxiu asked 3 times in a row, but no one bid. This bottle of innate original liquid naturally belonged to Lu Ming. After a short while, a young girl sent the innate original liquid to VIP room 10. Young master, the president has said that your spiritual crystals can be settled after the auction. The young girl said coquettishly. Okay, thank you, miss. Lu Ming nodded and put away the innate original liquid. Brother Lu, do you have any treasures to auction here? Fei Xue's beautiful eyes flickered as she asked. Only treasures that were put up for auction could be paid after the auction was over. Millimeter, I do have one. Lu Ming nodded. Fei Xue didn't ask further, but she was a little curious. The auction continued. Soon, dozens of auction items were auctioned off. I believe everyone has heard of the 198th auction item. It's the inter-region token, which is a slot to take the inter-region teleportation formation. I believe everyone knows that activating the inter-region teleportation formation consumes a terrifying amount of energy. Therefore, the cost of taking the inter-region teleportation formation is also extremely high. Even if it's teleported to the nearest region, it will cost at least 100,000 supreme spiritual crystals. The further the distance, the more expensive the teleportation will be. Originally, there were 2 slots to be auctioned this time. However, the Emperor Heaven Deity Palace took 1 slot back at the last minute. Now, there's only 1 slot left. This slot can travel as far as 20 regions. Now, the starting price is 100,000 supreme spiritual crystals. Each bid must not be less than 10,000 spiritual crystals. Let the bidding begin, Fengxiu announced. Only one left. I must get this one. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. I bid 110,000. I bid 120,000. As soon as Feng Shuo's voice fell, someone immediately started bidding. After all, the Emperor Heaven Deity Palace only gave out 1 or 2 slots each time. How many people were there in the entire Hong domain? There were bound to be people who wanted to head to other regions. Naturally, there were many people bidding. Soon, the price rose to 200,000. I bid 250,000. Everyone, I have something important to do in the Flying Silk region. Please let me have this slot. I'll be very grateful. An old voice sounded. You have something to do. Don't tell me I have nothing to do. I want to go to the Liu Sky region. I bid 280,000. A deep and resounding voice rang out, not giving way at all. 300,000. 320,000. Soon, the price rose to 400,000. Those who bid were all at the Greater Success King realm or above. Those below the Greater Success King realm usually couldn't afford so many supreme spiritual crystals. I bid 600,000. Suddenly, a voice sounded, shaking the entire place. All of a sudden, he added 200,000 supreme spiritual crystals, showing that he was determined to get this slot. It's VIP Room 10. Someone looked at VIP Room 10. The one who bid was naturally Lu Ming. He was determined to get this slot. The crowd fell silent. 600,000 yuan was too much. Moreover, who knew if Lu Ming would continue to raise the price? Haha, this kid finally can't help but raise the price. 600,000 is too low. In VIP Room 5, Qin Qingfei sneered and said, 700,000. Qin Qingfei called out 700,000 supreme spiritual crystals. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold as he looked at VIP Room 5. It's this guy again. I knew he would cause trouble. Chapter 591. 800,000. Lu Ming continued to bid without hesitation. 810,000. Qin Qingfei immediately added another 10,000. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with murderous intent as he continued to bid. 1 million. 1,010,000. Qin Qingfei added another 10,000. Wow. The entire place was in an uproar as a heated discussion broke out. It seems like the person in VIP Room 10 has really offended Qin Qingfei. Otherwise, why would he keep targeting him? Qin Qingfei is obviously doing this on purpose. Interesting. There were all kinds of expressions at the scene. Some were unhappy with Qin Qingfei's character, while others were gloating and watching the show. Damn it. Qin Qingfei, what do you mean by this? Are you deliberately raising the price? Fei Shui angrily opened the window and angrily shouted at the 5th VIP room. That's Fei Shui. No wonder. Fei Shui's faction and Qin Qingfei's faction are enemies to begin with. It's no wonder Qin Qingfei would deliberately increase the price. Someone immediately recognized Fei Shui. Hee, Fei Shui, don't slander me. I'm bidding normally. Why? You're allowed to bid for the treasures, but I'm not allowed to bid. The Tianji auction house doesn't have such a rule. Qin Qingfei opened the window and sneered. He deliberately looked at Lu Ming provocatively with a mocking look on his face. Damn it. Fei Shui closed the crystal window angrily and gritted her teeth. It doesn't matter, Lu Ming said plainly. He looked calm and continued to bid, 1,200,000. Anyway, 2,000 metal elemental ultimacy crystals would be worth at least 2 million supreme spiritual crystals. This was the lowest price. In fact, it was definitely more than that. 1,200,000. Qin Qingfei continued to bid. 1,300,000. Lu Ming continued to bid without hesitation. In VIP Room 5, Qin Qingfei's face flashed with a smug smile as he continued to bid. Second young master, the treasures at the back are more important. If you continue to bid and the other party doesn't want it, we will have wasted 1,300,000 supreme spiritual crystals. I'm afraid it will affect the later part of the plan, the middle-aged man advised. Qin Qingfei's eyes flickered a few times. In the end, he did not continue to raise the price. His mocking voice rang out, 1,300,000 for a spot. Hehe, I'll let you have it. Qin Qingfei withdrew from the bidding, so naturally, no one else made a bid. This spot fell into the hands of Lu Ming. After a while, a young girl took out a token and handed it to Lu Ming. With this token, Lu Ming could use the interdomain transfer array. Lu Ming put away the token. His expression had always been calm, but underneath the calmness, there was an endless storm. The auction continued. The further they went, the more precious treasures there were. Especially after the 210th treasure, each of them was the best of the best. The price of each of them was more than 1 million supreme spiritual crystals. Some of them even went as high as 2 million supreme spiritual crystals. Okay, now, there are only 2 treasures left. The next item to be auctioned is a set of ultimacy crystals. 2,000 pieces of metal element ultimacy crystals. After a pause, Feng Xiu continued, as everyone knows, the market price of ultimacy crystals is about 1,000 pieces. In fact, 1,000 ultimacy crystals is absolutely impossible to buy. Moreover, the more ultimacy crystals there are, the higher the price. Now, 2,000 ultimacy crystals have a base price of 2 million supreme spiritual crystals. Each bid must not be less than 100,000. 1 million. 2 million. As soon as Feng Xiu's voice fell, someone immediately started to bid. Most of the bidders were from the VIP rooms on the second floor. After all, 2 million supreme spiritual crystals was an astronomical figure for most people. Tianji Chamber of Commerce had started to advertise 5 or 6 days ago. Many people had come specifically for the 2,000 metal element ultimacy crystals. Therefore, there were many bidders and the competition was extremely fierce. Fei Shui was also tempted and joined the ranks of the bidders. In VIP room number 5, Qin Qingfei's eyes were shining with passion. He said, "Don't even think about competing with me. The 2,000 metal element ultimacy crystals are mine." He was not in a hurry to bid. He was waiting for the right time. The price rose steadily and soon reached the 3 million mark. Moreover, it was still rising rapidly. 5 million. Fei Shui bid. Lu Ming looked at Fei Shui in surprise. It seemed that Fei Shui's identity was not ordinary. To be able to take out 5 million supreme spiritual crystals for the birthday celebration of a senior was already a big deal. However, someone immediately called out a bid that surpassed Fei Shui's. 6 million. 7 million. 4 million. In just a short while, the price had broken through the 4 million mark. Sigh, forget it. This price is too high. Fei Shui sighed and withdrew from the competition. At this moment, there were still a dozen people bidding. These people were definitely not ordinary. Some of their voices were very old and they were definitely seniors who had lived for a long time. 5 million. Suddenly, a voice reverberated throughout the entire place, causing the entire place to fall silent. In just a short while, the price had increased by 1 million supreme spiritual crystals. It was terrifying. Qin Qingfei. There was a cold smile at the corners of Lu Ming's lips. He could tell that the person who made the bid was Qin Qingfei. 5 million. Is there anyone else bidding? Feng Xiu asked. 1 million. After a moment of silence, someone finally made a bid. 2 million. Qin Qingfei increased the price without hesitation. 3 million. Someone continued to bid. The price continued to rise. Soon, it had exceeded 6 million. At this price, most people had withdrawn from the competition. Only one person was still bidding with Qin Qingfei. 8 million. Qin Qingfei called out a terrifyingly high price. That person was silent for a while. In the end, he sighed and did not say anything. Qin Qingfei was overjoyed. The 2,000 metal element ultimacy crystals were finally going to be his. With these 2,000 metal element ultimacy crystals, his state would be able to break through quickly and reach the limit of level 1 greater mastery. He would then be able to reach level 1 greater mastery. Just as he was thinking about it, a voice interrupted him. 7 million. Someone called out 7 million. Brother Lu. Fei Shui whispered and looked at Lu Ming in surprise. It was Lu Ming who had called out 7 million. Damn it, Lu Ming. Qin Qingfei's eyes were cold. He naturally recognized Lu Ming's voice. 2 million. Qin Qingfei directly increased the price by 200,000 supreme spiritual crystals. 3 million. Lu Ming smiled and added 100,000 supreme-grade spirit crystals. 5 million. Qin Qingfei increased the price again. 6 million. With the water of life, Lu Yuntian's meridian injuries would be completely healed, and he would be able to step onto the path of martial Dao once more. He had sworn an oath a long time ago that he would find a treasure that could cure Lu Yuntian, but he hadn't come across such a treasure until now. The water of life, it's actually the water of life. Haha, my father has the foresight. This time, I must get it. In VIP room 5, Qin Qingfei also stood up, his eyes blazing with passion. Everyone was boiling with excitement, their eyes blazing with passion. Everyone, to be honest with you, this bottle of water of life isn't pure water of life. It has been diluted, and the concentration is only about 1/10 of the pure water of life. Moreover, it's just a rumor to revive the dead. No matter how much pure water of life there is, it can't be done, let alone diluted water of life. However, there's one thing that I'm sure of. Even if it's diluted water of life, as long as it's a physical injury, it can be healed. Even if your arm is chopped off, as long as it's reattached immediately and the diluted water of life drips on the wound, it can be reattached and healed perfectly. Feng Xiu introduced loudly. Even so, the crowd's enthusiasm was still high. The diluted water of life was also a peerless treasure. Alright, let's start the auction. The starting price is 5 million supreme-grade spirit crystals, and each bid must be at least 200,000 supreme-grade spirit crystals. Feng Xiu announced. 5,500,000. 5,800,000. 6 million. In an instant, someone made a bid. Tianji Chamber of Commerce had long announced that there was a peerless treasure to be auctioned this time. Although they didn't say what the treasure was, it still attracted a lot of people's interest. Many wealthy people had already prepared their spirit crystals and were waiting for them. For example, Qin Qingfei. Now that the water of life was out, there were people bidding one after another. Even if the water of life was diluted, it was equivalent to having an extra life if used well. Who wouldn't be tempted? With the water of life, they could explore more dangerous forbidden lands and ruins to find more precious treasures. The price soared at a terrifying speed. Not long after that, the price of 2,000 metal element crystals had broken through the sky-high price of 9 million, reaching 10 million. 11 million. Qin Qingfei shouted. 11,500,000. Immediately, someone increased the price by 500,000. Deacon Wu, quickly send a voice transmission to my father and ask him to transfer another 20 million supreme-grade spirit crystals to me. Today, I must get the water of life. Qin Qingfei said to the middle-aged man beside him. Yes, second young master. The middle-aged man quickly took out a voice transmission jade talisman and began to send a voice transmission. The price continued to rise. Soon, it reached the terrifying price of 15 million, but there were still many people competing. 15,500,000. Qin Qingfei shouted. 16 million. The price continued to rise. When the price reached 20 million, the number of people bidding finally decreased. Many people sighed. 20 million was too terrifying a price. Even if they wanted to, they couldn't compete. Many people who didn't have the financial resources to compete were also excited. 20 million supreme-grade spirit crystals was an astronomical figure for most people. However, it was rare to see so many people bidding for a treasure. Being able to see it with their own eyes was also a kind of bragging rights. At this time, only 3 people were still competing. Qin Qingfei was one of them. 23 million. When Qin Qingfei shouted the sky-high price of 23 million, another person withdrew. When Qin Qingfei shouted the price of 25 million, the last person withdrew. Haha, the water of life is mine. You want to compete with the Qin family in terms of financial resources? Dream on. Qin Qingfei laughed. 26 million. At this time, a clear and firm voice sounded. Chapter 593. Lu Ming's bid made the atmosphere at the scene lively again. Someone else is bidding. I thought it would fall into the Qin family's hands. It's him again. It's that young man in VIP room 10 again. Who is he? Not only has he repeatedly gone against Qin Qingfei, but he's also so rich. There was a burst of discussion in the hall. Damn it. It's that little bastard again, Qin Qingfei shouted angrily. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he stared at VIP room 10. In VIP room number 10, flying snow also revealed an extremely curious expression. Lu Ming was really from the Tianxian domain. He had asked for more than 20 million supreme-grade spirit crystals. Was the Tianxian domain that rich? This guest has bid 26 million. Are there any higher bids? If not, this bottle of life elixir will belong to this guest. Feng Xiu shouted 27 million, Qin Qingfei shouted 28 million, Lu Ming did not hesitate 29 million, 30 million. Lu Ming directly raised the price to 30 million. At this moment, there was no sound in the hall. Everyone looked at Lu Ming and Qin Qingfei in a daze. Kid, let me tell you. This bottle of life elixir is highly valued by the Qin family. You've repeatedly gone against the Qin family. Are you courting death? Qin Qingfei shouted angrily. Ha ha, repeatedly going against the Qin family? What a joke. I remember that I have never taken the initiative to provoke you. You're the one who provoked me every time. Now you're saying that I've repeatedly gone against the Qin family? Lu Ming sneered in response. Kid, if I say you're wrong, then you're wrong. Now, stop bidding. I'll bid 30 million and 200 million. Qin Qingfei shouted. What a joke. 31 million. Lu Ming could not be bothered with him and continued to bid. Damn it, damn it. President Feng, I suspect that this person is simply raising the price. He doesn't have that many supreme-grade spiritual crystals. Qin Qingfei shouted. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. This time, Qin Qingfei was right. He did not have that many supreme spiritual crystals with him. Seeing that Lu Ming didn't say anything, Qin Qingfei's eyes lit up. He was overjoyed and said, President Feng, did you see that? This person doesn't dare to speak. I don't think he has that many spirit crystals. I suggest that we check the number of spirit crystals he has. If he doesn't have that many spiritual crystals, then he is disrupting the auction and will be severely punished. Feng Xiu's gaze also looked towards VIP room number 10. The Tianji Chamber of Commerce had a rule that if a bidder failed to produce enough spirit crystals after bidding, it would be considered disrupting the auction and they would be severely punished by the Tianji Chamber of Commerce. In the past, there had been people who had disrupted the auction of the Heavenly Secret Chamber of Commerce, resulting in their cultivation being crippled. Some had even been killed. At this point, no one dared to bid recklessly anymore. Lu Ming was the one who had auctioned off 2,000 supreme spiritual crystals of the metal element. Feng Xiu had known this for a long time, so he thought that Lu Ming should have spirit crystals. However, now that Lu Ming was silent, there must be a problem. Lu Ming opened the window of the VIP room and everyone looked at him. I really don't have that many supreme spiritual crystals, Lu Ming said calmly. There was an uproar in the room. Damn, he really doesn't have that many spirit crystals. It turns out that he is trying to gain something without risking anything. How dare he try to gain something without risking anything in the Tianji Chamber of Commerce? His courting death. Young man, blinded by greed, his dead meat now. Many people sighed. Haha, this kid really doesn't have spirit crystals. Haha. Qin Qingfei was overjoyed. He had just said it casually out of anger. He never expected that Lu Ming would be so bold as to not have any supreme spiritual crystals. Brother Lu, don't admit it first. I'll think of a way to get a batch of spirit crystals for you. Fei Xue's expression changed greatly as she whispered hurriedly. Miss Fei Xue, there's no need for that. Lu Ming waved his hand. His face was still calm. He looked at Feng Xiu and asked, President Feng, how many spirit crystals do I have left after deducting the spirit crystals I bought from the auction? Feng Xiu was bewildered. Her eyes sparkled as she said, You've used 1,600,000 top-quality spirit crystals in 2 auctions. You sold 2,000 metal Upanishad crystals for 9 million. After deducting the 5% commission, you have 6,900,000 spirit crystals left. As soon as he said that, everyone was stunned again. What? Those 2,000 metal power Upanishad crystals belong to him? Damn, I thought some senior expert put them up for auction. It's actually his. How could he have so many supreme spiritual crystals? Everyone was surprised and curious. However, the remaining 6 million spirit crystals were not enough. As for Qin Qingfei, he was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He never dreamed that the 2,000 supreme spiritual crystals were Lu Ming's. Previously, Lu Ming had purposely raised the price so that he had to spend 9 million to buy the 2,000 supreme spiritual crystals. Thinking of this, he was so angry that his chest hurt. Kid, so what if it's yours? It's far from 31 million. If you can't take out so many supreme spiritual crystals today, I'll see how you die. Qin Qingfei gritted his teeth. Fei Xue's beautiful eyes flickered as she looked at Lu Ming in surprise. She did not expect that the 2,000 metal attribute profundity crystals would belong to Lu Ming. Lu Ming, you bid 31 million supreme spiritual crystals. Can you take out 31 million supreme spiritual crystals? Qin Qingfei asked loudly. I don't have any supreme spiritual crystals. However, I can use the supreme spiritual crystals to offset it. Lu Ming said calmly. Offset it with supreme spiritual crystals? What a joke. You've already taken out 2,000 supreme spiritual crystals. I don't believe that you have more, Qin Qingfei continued to clamor. However, before he could finish, he was almost blinded by a golden light. Lu Ming waved his hand and a pile of supreme spiritual crystals appeared in the air. Each of them was shining with golden light and emitted a strong intent realm aura. All of them were supreme spiritual crystals of the metal element. So many. All of them are supreme spiritual crystals of the metal element. How many pieces are there? Nestle, did he get a large supreme spiritual crystal mine? Everyone was shocked. Many people stared at the pile of supreme spiritual crystals in the air with burning eyes. Qin Qingfei's eyes were wide open. He was tongue-tied and dumbfounded. He swallowed the rest of the words he wanted to say. Fei Xue's beautiful eyes flickered as she looked at Lu Ming with curiosity. Here are 5,000 supreme spiritual crystals of the metal element. I won't take them out for auction. President Feng, do you accept supreme spiritual crystals? Lu Ming said to Feng Xiu. Yes, of course. How about this? My heavenly secret chamber of commerce will buy all 5,000 supreme spiritual crystals. The price? Feng Xiu was overjoyed and was about to say the price. President Feng, wait a minute. Before Feng Xiu could state the price, Lu Ming spoke again, interrupting Feng Xiu. Chapter 594. Feng Xiu looked at Lu Ming in confusion. However, in the next moment, his pupils suddenly shrank. Lu Ming waved his hand again, and another pile of profound crystals appeared in the air. This time, each of the profound sense crystals was sparkling with a blue light, releasing a strong intent domain aura that could enchant people. This time, it was a water-attributed profound crystal. Profound crystals. Gosh, more profound crystals. They are not any less than those metal-attributed profound crystals. How is this possible? Who is this person? I have never seen him before. Could he be an exceptional genius from a super-large region? Is it possible? He bid for the trans-region token earlier. He must be a genius from another large region. No wonder he has so many profound crystals. Once again, intense discussions broke out at the scene. Fei Xue, Qin Qingfei, and the others looked at Lu Ming in shock. President Feng, here are 5,000 water-attributed profound crystals and 5,000 metal-attributed profound crystals. A total of 10,000 pieces. Sell them all. Lu Ming said. All right. I will take them all. I will pay 40 million spirit crystals for the 10,000 profound crystals. What do you think? Feng Xiu said. All right. Lu Ming agreed immediately. 40 million spirit crystals was not low. An average of 2,000 pieces was equivalent to 8 million spirit crystals. Although 2,000 spirit crystals were sold for 9 million spirit crystals, that was because Lu Ming raised the price. Under normal circumstances, they might not be able to sell for 9 million spirit crystals. However, there were more of them now. 5,000 spirit crystals per set. After the secret chamber of commerce bought them, they would publicize them. When they auctioned them, they would definitely sell them for a higher price. After all, the more profound crystals there were, the higher the price. 5,000 spirit crystals per set was more tempting than 2,000 spirit crystals per set. Lu Ming took out a storage ring and put the 10,000 profound crystals into it. Then, he tossed it to Feng Xiu. Many people's eyes were burning. If it were outside, someone would have already tried to snatch them. However, this was the secret chamber of commerce. Who would have the guts? Unless they did not want to live anymore. If they offended the secret chamber of commerce, even the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace would not be able to protect them. Some people looked at Lu Ming with burning eyes. Lu Ming had so many power Upanishad crystals. Did he have more? Many people had different thoughts. Lu Ming originally didn't want to be so ostentatious, but he couldn't do it. He had to obtain the life water. Moreover, he was going back tomorrow. He was not worried about leaving this place. At this time, Lu Ming looked at Qin Qingfei again with a mocking expression. Now, I have spiritual crystals to bid, right? Damn it. Qin Qingfei growled. His eyes were filled with fury and killing intent. 32 million. Qin Qingfei gritted his teeth and continued to bid. 33 million. Lu Ming raised the price without hesitation. 34 million. 35 million. 40 million. In a few moments, Lu Ming raised the price to 40 million. At this time, Qin Qingfei was already trembling all over. His eyes were red as he stared at Lu Ming. Quick, send a voice transmission to my father and get another batch of spiritual crystals, Qin Qingfei shouted at the middle-aged man. At this time, he was no longer competing for the life water. Instead, he was competing with Lu Ming. Second young master, you should give up. Master just sent a message to ask you to give up. 40 million is too high. Don't compete, the middle-aged man said. What? Don't compete? How can I not compete? Qin Qingfei was trembling all over. He gritted his teeth. Why? No more spiritual crystals? If you don't have any, just give up. Lu Ming sneered. This made Qin Qingfei so angry that his chest hurt again. He had completely lost today's auction. Brat, just you wait. Qin Qingfei left behind these words and left dejectedly with the middle-aged burly man. 40 million. Is there anyone who wants to bid higher? Feng Xiu looked around. However, how could anyone bid for 40 million? Feng Xiu asked 3 times in a row. In the end, the life water was bought by Lu Ming. Following the conclusion of the bidding for the water of life, the soul-stirring auction also came to an end. Haha, little brother, how should I address you? After the crowd dispersed, Feng Xiu took the water of life and walked into VIP room 10 with a candid smile. Junior Lu Ming greets Senior Feng. Lu Ming cupped his fists and said, Haha, brother Lu, there's no need to be so polite. This is your life water. Feng Xiu handed the life water to Lu Ming. Subsequently, he took out a storage ring and passed it to Lu Ming. The 40 million spirit crystals for the water of life can be offset by the 10,000 profound crystals. There are 6,950,000 supreme-grade spirit crystals here. Please check. No need. Lu Ming took the storage ring and put it away. The Tianji Chamber of Commerce was spread all over the continent and had existed for countless years. There was no doubt about its reputation. Lu Ming was not worried about this. Then, Lu Ming, Flying Snow, and Feng Xiu bade farewell and left the Tianji auction house. Brother Lu, don't show off your wealth. You took out so many ultimacy crystals this time. I'm afraid some people will remember it. You have to be careful. Along the way, Flying Snow warned. They dare to make a move in Grand City? Lu Ming asked. Most people don't dare to do it in Grand City. However, we can't rule out some people who might take the risk. It's better to be careful, Flying Snow said. Lu Ming nodded. Miss Flying Snow, I'll be the host today. Will you accept my invitation? Lu Ming smiled faintly and looked at Fei Xue. He and Flying Snow met by chance, but Flying Snow had taken care of him many times. Lu Ming felt that he could make friends with Flying Snow. All right. Flying Snow agreed straightforwardly. The two of them found a restaurant and ate and drank to their heart's content. Brother Lu, with your cultivation at such a young age, I'm afraid it won't be long before you make it to the list of top 1,000 talents in Eastern Wilderness. After a few glasses of wine, Flying Snow's cheeks were flushed and her eyes were watery. She was extremely beautiful. List of top 1,000 talents in Eastern Wilderness? Lu Ming whispered, a glimmer of light flashing in his eyes. Soon, he would be fighting against Saint Star on the list of top 1,000 talents. With Brother Lu's talent, I believe it's only a matter of time before you make it to the list of top 1,000 talents in Eastern Wilderness. Perhaps you can even participate in the Battle of Providence in 2 years? Flying Snow smiled faintly, as beautiful as a divine flower. To be honest, Flying Snow's appearance and temperament were not inferior to Xian Yanqing, Autumn Moon, or Mulin's. She was one of the most beautiful women Lu Ming had ever met. Battle of Providence. Lu Ming was puzzled. This was the first time he had heard of it. Yes, the Battle of Providence is very important. At that time, all the geniuses in Eastern Wilderness will participate. Not only the human clan, but even the demon clan will participate. Brother Lu, haven't you heard of it? Flying Snow said. No, all the geniuses in Eastern Wilderness will participate. Lu Ming was very curious. Actually, I'm not too sure either. I only know that the Battle of Providence is held once every 20 years. It involves not only the Eastern Barren Territory, but also the Middle Continent, the Southern Underworld, the Western Desert, and the Northern Plains. However, there won't be any competition between each other. It will be a competition within each region. When the time comes, the 4 dominating forces of the Eastern Barren Territory and countless smaller forces will have an intense competition. I heard that most of those who can stand out in the Battle of Providence will become the most powerful experts in the continent. Chapter 595. Lu Ming was extremely curious. It involved the entire divine desolate continent. How shocking. He wanted to ask more, but Fei Xue did not know much. She had only heard about it from her elders. At this moment, Qin Qingfei was discussing something with a few people in a luxurious hall in Hong City. Second young master, are you really going to make a move on Lu Ming? But in Hong City, apart from some special places, you can't make a move. What if? A middle-aged man said worriedly. What are you afraid of? If anything happens, I'll take responsibility. That kid has too much wealth. Apart from the water of life, who knows how many more profound crystals he has. We can't let him go. Qin Qingfei's eyes flashed with greed. Since that's the case, young master, who do you plan to send? It must be done cleanly. It's best if no one finds out. The middle-aged man said. Let the 3 phantom killers go. The 3 of them are all peak 9th layer Martial King. They're very good at cooperating with each other. Once, a peak king died in their hands. More importantly, no one knows that they're on our side. Even if they do find out, they won't know it was us. Qin Qingfei sneered. Second young master, good idea. I'll do it right away. After saying this, the middle-aged man left in a hurry. Kid, no matter how many treasures you have, they'll all be mine in the end. Qin Qingfei muttered as a cold smile appeared on the corners of his mouth. In the restaurant. The two chatted as they ate. When the auction ended, it was already evening. After 3 rounds of drinks, night had fallen. Thank you for today's banquet, Brother Lu. Fei Xue will take her leave now. I'll bring Brother Lu to the teleportation platform tomorrow. Fei Xue got up and left. Thank you. Lu Ming nodded. After Fei Shui left, Lu Ming also paid the bill and left. Lu Ming's heart stirred. He did not return to the original inn. Instead, he turned a few streets and changed to another inn so that he would not be targeted. Walking into the room, the water of life appeared in his hand. He opened the jade bottle and a strong aura of life spread out. The water of life, this was the water of life. Lu Ming closed the bottle and a trace of excitement appeared in his eyes. Father, your injuries can finally be healed. Lu Ming muttered. Back then, Lu Yuntian was also a genius martial artist. As a martialist himself, Lu Ming knew very well what kind of pain it was to be unable to cultivate. Although Lu Yuntian didn't express it in front of them, that didn't mean that he didn't desire to cultivate. Lu Ming knew full well that Lu Yuntian yearned for it. Lu Ming had been working hard for this. With that, Lu Ming stored the water of life in the Temple of Paragon. Right at this moment, a sense of crisis suddenly descended upon him. Danger. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, more than 10 vines suddenly appeared in the room and wrapped around Lu Ming. Lu Ming waved his hand, and a spear light swept out, shattering the vines and rushing out of the room. Boom. Just as Lu Ming rushed out of the room, a huge metal bottle above his head fell toward Lu Ming. From the metal bottle, a large net shot out and covered Lu Ming. Below Lu Ming, vines that resembled venomous snakes coiled around Lu Ming. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In the night, 3 figures flashed and pounced on Lu Ming like ghosts. The 3 figures each gave off a powerful aura of the peak LV9 Martial King realm. You're courting death. Lu Ming bellowed as his aura surged. With the 9 dragons' heaven stomping steps, heaven and earth rumbled and the vines below exploded. At the same time, a spear light, which contained a powerful cutting power of the wind concept, rushed toward the net and shattered it. Clang, clang, clang. At this moment, the 3 figures attacked with their strongest attacks. A wisp of sword chi and a saber light attacked Lu Ming's 2 vitals from the left and right at a shocking speed. However, the most terrifying thing was that an arrow tore through the night sky like a streak of light, aiming for Lu Ming's back. It was simply too fast. Above his head, the metal bottle continued to press down. This was a sure-kill situation. If caught off guard, even a peak king would be killed. Unfortunately, Lu Ming's current battle strength had far surpassed normal peak kings. 10,000 dragons kill. Lu Ming stabbed out with his spear, and hundreds of tricolor dragons danced in all directions. Peng! The jade bottle was sent flying far away by the dozens of tricolor true dragons. The 2 assassins on the left and right coughed out large mouthfuls of blood after being hit by the dragons. They screamed as their bodies cracked and died on the spot. As for the arrow, it was the most powerful one. It broke through the dozens of tricolor dragons, but it also disappeared. Let's go. Behind him, a figure holding a bow changed his expression and continued to flee into the distance. You want to leave after trying to assassinate me? Lu Ming took a step forward and used the 9 dragons' heaven stomping steps. At this moment, the shockwaves of the battle had already spread out in the night. Countless figures appeared in the surroundings to watch. How bold. Someone actually dares to attack in Hong City. That's that youth from the auction. Indeed, someone was greedy and wanted to steal the treasure. Looks like he kicked an iron plate. That youth's battle strength is too terrifying. He's even stronger than a peak king. Discussions could be heard in the night sky. Someone recognized Lu Ming. There were even some people who had coveted Lu Ming. At this moment, they were secretly glad that they didn't attack. Otherwise, they would have died. The black figure was extremely fast, but Lu Ming was even faster and caught up with him in a few steps. Die. A spear light flashed, and the figure was nailed to the ground, no matter how much he roared. Lu Ming's figure flashed as he devoured the essence blood of the 3 and took their storage rings. Then, he left. Soon, Lu Ming appeared 200 miles away. He found a secluded place and entered the Temple of Paragon. No one would be able to find him in the Temple of Paragon. I wonder who sent someone to assassinate me. Qin Qingfei? Lu Ming immediately thought of Qin Qingfei. He had changed his residence temporarily, but he was found in just a few minutes. This showed how powerful the person behind this was. Of course, he couldn't rule out others. Killing intent flashed in Lu Ming's eyes, but he shook his head. He was going to leave tomorrow anyway, and he didn't want to cause trouble. Then, he closed his eyes and started cultivating. Not long after, Qin Qingfei's angry roar could be heard from his palace. What? I killed Ghost Shadow 3, and then I lost track of that kid. Trash, all trash. Qin Qingfei roared. Second young master, that kid's battle strength is far above our estimation. I'm afraid he's not weaker than a peak king. He might even be slightly stronger than an ordinary peak king, the middle-aged man said with a frown. Qin Qingfei took a deep breath and said coldly, looks like we have to ask Big Brother for help. Second young master wants to ask first young master? The middle-aged man was shocked. That's right. That kid wants to use the interdomain teleportation formation? How naive. Chapter 596. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, the sun had risen. Lu Ming sent a message to Fei Shui and then headed in the direction of the interdomain teleportation formation. Lu Ming saw Fei Shui outside the palace. Brother Lu, I received news that you were assassinated last night. I've been sending messages to you, but I couldn't send them out. I thought something had happened to you. Fei Shui asked worriedly when she saw Lu Ming. It seemed that Fei Shui had received the news last night. Just a few clowns. It's not a big deal. Lu Ming smiled. He had been in the Temple of Paragon for most of the time, so he couldn't send any messages. Light flashed in Fei Shui's eyes. She had received news that the assassins weren't clowns, but people with powerful cultivation. According to the corpses, they had concluded that the assassins were the famous triple ghostly shadow kills. One could imagine how powerful the assassins were to be able to escape unscathed from the triple ghostly shadow kills. Fei Shui was even more curious. Was Lu Ming really from the Tianxian domain? As far as she knew, only those on the list of top 1,000 talents in the Tianxian domain could have such combat strength. Miss Fei Shui, let's go to the interdomain teleportation formation, Lu Ming said. Okay. Fei Shui nodded and led Lu Ming to the interdomain teleportation formation. After passing through 12 checkpoints, they appeared in a huge square. From afar, there was a huge altar-like structure in the center of the square. It was the interdomain teleportation formation. Around the altar, there were rows of soldiers in metal armor standing guard. These soldiers were not ordinary soldiers. Each of them exuded a powerful aura. Most of them were peak LV6 Martial King Realm cultivators, and some were even Great King Realm experts. This is an important place. What are you doing here? With a cold shout, a middle-aged man appeared in front of the two. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. This middle-aged man was Qin Qingfei's eighth uncle, who had appeared last time. I'm here to take the interdomain teleportation formation, Lu Ming said. You're still here? Didn't I tell you last time that there are no more places? Leave now. The middle-aged man waved his hand casually. I have my own place, Lu Ming said as he took out the interdomain token. The middle-aged man's eyes darkened when he saw the token in Lu Ming's teleportation token. With the realm teleportation token, as long as one's identity was clean, one would be able to use the realm teleportation formation. So you bid for a trans-region token. Alright, you have the right to take the trans-region teleportation formation. Which region do you want to go to? You can't be more than 20 regions away from the Hong domain. The middle-aged man said. Tianxian domains. Lu Ming said. Domain Tianxian domain? The middle-aged man's of Tianchuan's view. The middle-aged man waved his hand. At this moment, a gloomy voice sounded. Was of Lu of eyes upon hearing this voice, Lu Ming's eyes turned cold and he turned around. Two young silhouettes were rushing over at high speed. One of them was Qin Qingfei. The other person was wearing a green robe. He was tall and slender, and his face was cold. He exuded a cold and terrifying aura. Qin Qingshan. Fei Xue suddenly exclaimed as she looked at the green-robed man in surprise. Qingfei, Qingshan, why are you here? When the middle-aged man saw Qin Qingfei and Qin Qingshan, he smiled and greeted them. Eighth uncle, big brother, and I are here to capture an audacious man. Qin Qingfei sneered as he looked at Lu Ming and shouted, Lu Ming, how dare you steal from the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace's treasury and steal a large number of ultimacy crystals? Kneel down and await your punishment. I stole from the treasury? Which eye of yours saw it? Lu Ming sneered. Is there a need to stare? The ultimacy crystals that you took out were stolen from the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace's treasury. You still have them in your storage ring. Take them out for inspection. Qin Qingfei shouted. Qin Qingfei, you're spouting nonsense. The treasury of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace is extremely well guarded. Even a Sea of Soul Realm expert wouldn't be able to barge in, let alone Lu Ming. You're simply spouting nonsense. Fei Xue shouted angrily. Qin Qingfei was clearly trying to pin a crime on Lu Ming without any evidence. How could she not be angry? Fei Xue, this is the truth. Are you trying to protect him? Qin Qingfei shouted. You, Fei Xue's chest heaved. She had never seen such a shameless person. Flying snow, just step aside. No matter what, I will not let you pass. No matter what, this kid must stay and undergo inspection. If he's innocent, he'll be released. Qin Qingshan stepped forward and said. Although his voice was calm, it was filled with a commanding tone. Qin Qingshan, as a genius on the list of top 1,000 talents, you're actually as shameless as your brother. Fei Xue shouted. I said, take this kid down first. Once he's innocent, he'll be released. Qin Qingshan said indifferently as he stepped forward. A cold aura emanated from his body and pressed down on Lu Ming. Kid, do you want me to do it or do you want me to do it myself? If you hurt yourself, don't say that I'm too ruthless. Qin Qingshan looked at Lu Ming indifferently. Although he knew that Lu Ming had killed the triple phantom kill, he still didn't care about it. This was because he was a genius on the list of top 1,000 talents, ranked 999th. Qin Qingshan. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He remembered that he had seen Qin Qingshan's name on the list of top 1,000 talents. He was ranked 999th after Saint Star. I'd like to see how powerful a genius on the list of top 1,000 talents is. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with fighting spirit. You want to fight with me? Haha. Qin Qingshan chuckled, but everyone could hear the disdain in his voice. Haha, kid, you want to fight with my big brother? You're overestimating yourself. Qin Qingfei laughed. Brother Lu. Fei Xue exclaimed softly. She knew how terrifying Qin Qingshan was. It's okay. Lu Ming smiled, and the fighting spirit in his eyes intensified. He was about to fight with Saint Star when he returned to Tianxian Domain. What harm was there in testing the strength of a genius on the list of top 1,000 talents? Lu Ming, right? You're not bad. Half a year ago, you might have been qualified to fight with me, but now, you're far from it. Qin Qingshan smiled faintly and stepped forward. Boom. A powerful aura rushed out from Qin Qingshan's body. It was mighty and filled the air. The huge pressure was like a huge mountain, pressing down on Lu Ming. Peak King. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Qin Qingshan's cultivation had reached the Peak King realm. He had just said that Lu Ming could fight with him half a year ago, which meant that he was still a Peak King half a year ago. Now, he had broken through. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.